We are the foremost ambassadors of our country, and we are the foremost promoters of business with our country. I want to ask you, my brothers and sisters, let us now systematize how we get this institutional capability that we have by the numbers we have in the US to go back to our country so that we mentor, train, and help grow the talent that we have in our country. And there's much more we can do when we continue having this conversation and continue talking. In the next 8 months or 10 months, I'm going to spend time now at home having conversations, listening to Kenyans like I've listened to all of you since last night, and I've listened to Kenyans in Texas, I've listened to Kenyans in DMV, on what you would like us to do together. I am inviting you all to be part of all of us who are forming a community of believers in transforming our country, so that we work together to transform our country. The challenges we face, a good number of them are man-made. There is nothing wrong with our country, but there's something wrong with some of the management we have in our country and some of the decisions that we take in our country. I gave this example yesterday. How is it? And it's very clear that all of you guys know this. When President Kibaki was sworn into office, he introduced free primary education. 1 million kids walk to school. 1 million. In fact, you have seen the clips doing rounds where President Clinton says that if there is one person he wished to meet that time, it was President Kibaki. That a new president of Kenya who introduced free education and 1 million kids walk to school. By the time President Kenyatta came into office, Kibaki's children were now ready to go into secondary school. That is why President Kenyatta spent time on 100% transition. The late Professor Magoha and I, the number of us, spent time in villages, building classrooms, fighting female genital mutilation, and ensuring that girls go to school. Everywhere where we had challenges, like in Kilifi, because of teenage pregnancies, I banned disco matanga, because that nonsense where people go when someone has died, they go at night to dance. And then they say, oh, we must replace the one who's in the coffin tonight. You know, silly things like those, which eventually affect our children. And we worked hard through the provincial administration. I remember, for example, George Natembea, the current governor of Trans Nzoia, a good friend of mine. Yes, he of the Tawe movement. You know, was first the county commissioner in Narok, then later regional commissioner in Rift Valley. We were terrorizing chiefs and assistant chiefs, telling a chief, if there's a girl who's going to be found in your jurisdiction who has not gone to school, you will pay for it. And drove these kids to school. Now, how is it that when we are supposed to be going forward, we want to go backwards? We reduced capitation from 22,000 to about 16 or so. It's not even going to schools. And every day is excuses upon excuses, you know. In fact, I would be forgiven if I described what we have in our country as government by excuses. You know, it started with no, it is Uhuru and his term. Then no, it's Raila and Azimio and I don't know who. Then now, oh, ni Wakikuyu wanataka kuharibu serikali. As I said the other day, next year it's going to be ni Wakizi na Wakamba wanataka kuharibu serikali. You know, so looking for someone to blame for things that we are supposed to be doing. Good people, we have challenges in our country. Some of them are man-made. Let us work on solving them. I am ready to lead the team to fix those challenges. I'm ready. Because it's true. Because this is not geophysics. This is not rocket science. These are straightforward matters where we need honesty and trust to make the decisions. As I move towards the end of my remarks this evening, I want to remind you this. In 2022, hold on a minute. In 2022, we told a lot of people, I addressed meetings where people were asking me these questions, and I told them, like I'm going to tell you today, because I have nothing to hide and you're my brothers and sisters. We either, A, stand up, be focused, and deal with the challenges in our country, or we will soon have no country. It's as simple as that. This pretense that we have had over the years, where we are told lies, musunguko wa ujeuri na uongo, and now season 2 of that is about to begin. Where, people are flying around the country with helicopters every Friday, in the form of empowerment, 9 helicopters this way, 9 helicopters that way, dramatizing things. Then they end up in a village, they give those poor people 64 shillings. That is not even $1. Even if you gave your mother $1, what would she do with it? Let's be serious. I mean, these jokes, our country is better than that. So that is why we are here. And I promise that working together, all of us, we will fix these challenges, bring about integrity to the management of public affairs, and also create trust. Kenyans are looking for a government they can trust. That a government that will tell you something you can take to the bank. Not a government that you are not sure what they tell you is going to work or not. Finally, some of our public servants, and a good number of you have been in the public service before. We have some of the most hardworking public service, very professional, highly competent. I know it. I have worked with the public service before. I've given this example. For the entire time I was in cabinet, I worked with about 13 or so PSS. I mean, top-notch, smart people. Some of them Harvard, were McKinsey consultants and so on. Smart people. They don't need a benevolent guy from heaven, to come and give them lectures every day and dictate them on what they're supposed to be doing. They just need to be respected, be given an opportunity to move forward. And also merit, so that people are promoted because they are qualified to do the job they are doing. Not parachuting people left, right, and center because of the ethnic communities they come from. Collecting some political stillborns and assigning them responsibility to boss around public servants. And they spend time insulting public servants every day. We are the consultants, we are the advisors. And we have reinvented the way in which public service is supposed to be run. Yet, actually, public service is what holds our country together, as it were. So, my friends, when you look at the pay slips of the public service because of a taxation and so on, even self-esteem is lost. Morale is gone. How will they deliver? We will fix this and return the morale of the public servants to work. We will respect public service and public servants and listen to them when they advise us on what we need to do. So, lastly, you've heard all these stories that you will hear from politicians. When our country is going through challenges such as we are going, some of them crazily man-made, as I said. We are importing rice. Where farmers have got rice in the stores. You will wake up tomorrow morning, these same fellows will go to Western Kenya or someplace there and they will expect people to be singing and dancing for them. Cane farmers who have not been paid for decades, they are importing sugar. The factories are closed. Let's be honest about our country. Let us be very serious about the affairs of our country. And that is why my colleagues and I are engaged in this constant conversation. And I know that maybe before the end of the year or early next year, another one of my colleagues will come here and meet with you and continue this conversation. We want you to join us in the program and the journey of remaking our country and reclaiming our country. Don't be discouraged. I know things can go wrong. I know how it feels when you watch those pictures on TV of thugs walking side by side with uniformed police officers. People shooting at members of parliament in broad daylight, and there's no crime they have committed. They are just going to a church and going to a rally. Can you imagine if the US behaved like that? We probably would not have been sitting here. As soon as the MC started, policemen walk in. They just start chasing us around. And there's nothing we have done. We have just met and danced. And I don't know why anybody should be unhappy about our dance. Now, those are the kind of things that we are dealing with. But do not lose faith. And people constantly dividing us. This is why I have refused personally. And we all reject, and I want to invite you to reject with me, and all of us well-meaning people, the idea of dividing us into tribes, into communities, and so on. We are not a congregation of tribes in Kenya. We are a nation called Kenya. And the challenges we have do not know tribe, they do not know region. People have challenges in Siaya, in Kisumu, in Kericho, and all over the place. So when people are raising these issues, they're not raising them because of their ethnic background. They're raising genuine, serious issues that we need to work on. I promise you that I am ready to make my contribution. I am ready to lead a team that will work on remaking our country and fixing our challenges. And I promise you, I'll keep my word. Hold me to account, ask questions. And if I am the one who's so blessed and so privileged to cross that bridge and be the one to be in that office, listening to these wonderful young people who spoke here, asking questions about what we are going to do to resolve some of those challenges like mental health. Half of the reasons why we have mental health problems in our country is because of the ecosystem and the environment in which we live. If you graduated 6 years ago, you have no job, your brother has no job, your sister has no job, your mom has no job, your father is earning a miserable salary, paying SHA, paying housing, a house you will never go into. How will you remain sane? Yeah, I'm asking you, how will you remain sane? That's why we're having these challenges. The anguish, our young people are going into these issues because of the challenges we have in the country. So the first solution to this problem is to fix the problems of the country so that our young people, we can get investment into our country, we can get private sector involved in our investment and creating employment for our young people. Then we will deal with these challenges. Then their self-esteem will come back, their dignity will come back. And that is what I pledge to do and I would like to do, so that we build trust in a transparent government. Finally, I ask you to keep the faith. Do not be discouraged by these momentary challenges. By God's grace, we will cross that bridge together. And when we do, we will fix the challenges of our country. Have hope that the better days of our country are ahead. And I am asking that we all join together as we walk on that journey to a better future as a country where we will be united, live together, be transparent, build trust in our country again. My item number one, if I got that opportunity, will be beginning on a program of healing the nation. Because our country is suffering from divisions and all this pain. But I believe it. I believe it in my heart. We will get there and we will solve these challenges together and we will fix our challenges as a country.